Alan James Coage was a judoka and later professional wrestler. He won medals for the United States at several international judo competitions, including the heavyweight bronze medal at the 1976 Summer Olympics, becoming the second American to win a medal in judo. He later appeared in wrestling promotions such as the World Wrestling Federation, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Stampede Wrestling, and Polynesian Pacific Pro Wrestling under the ring names Bad News Brown, Buffalo Allen, and Bad News Allen, and many say was a blueprint to the Stone Cold Steve Austin character. So tell your grandmother, your three-legged dog, and that ugly goldfish you got. This is the untold story of Alan Coage, aka Bad News Allen. Alan was born in Harlem, New York City in 1943 and raised in St. Albans, Queens, which at the time was considered a disadvantaged neighborhood. He attended Thomas Edison High School and hung around with a gang called the Scotchman Lords. In 1944, his father, Howard Allen Coage, was arrested and jailed for the illegal sale of beer, wine, and liquor. Alan was also routinely arrested several times and once spent a few days in a youth house where he was shocked with a vision of what could have been his future: drugs, jail, and death. At the age of 15, Alan began training in judo under Jerome McKay after seeing a poster for McKay's dojo on the New York City subway that read, "Don't let the hood beat you up and take your money." Many others saw McKay's poster, but unlike most who just took a lesson or two and hoped God would award them with a black belt, Alan was different. He immediately began an intensive training schedule of 4 days a week, 3 hours per day. He stuck to the schedule like a postman, rain, shine, sleet, or snow. This regimen allowed Alan to win first place at the Chicago Invitational Tournament after only 7 months of training, despite being only a white belt. Within 2.5 years, he would earn his black belt and named a Sandan. During high school, he was a thin pupil with a lack of confidence who would play handball, baseball, and basketball in his battles to prove himself. Described as a loner and rarely attending social events, as most of his friends were other judo students. He also spent much of his time going around to disadvantaged neighborhoods of his youth, doing his best to help at-risk youngsters who needed the kind of inspiration Al had never received as a young child. He would continue to do this in his free time without any benefit, fanfare, or publicity. Alan remained humble to the point where one of his fellow judokas would brag about his accomplishments, since he usually kept them to himself. His instructors would comment on how courteous and respectful he was, while most athletes his age level were flamboyant and cocky. Alan would continue his rigorous workout routine and adding a 2-mile run every night. Alan was inspired by meeting George Harris, who in 1961 was the last American to win a U.S. Grand Championship. After graduating in 1962 and majoring in electrical insulation, Alan got a job working in a bakery in Long Island, following in his father's footsteps. He attended the Manhattan Food Trade School, eventually becoming a foreman, but deep down inside had much bigger aspirations. In 1970, Alan relocated to Japan for 2 years, where he studied at the Nihon University, majoring and minoring in judo. In 1972, he narrowly missed making the Olympic team when he was beaten and suffered a knee injury. In 1975, Alan worked part-time as a bodyguard for Aretha Franklin, but in October of that same year, he struck gold in the heavyweight judo category in the Pan Am Games in Mexico City. When the team arrived in Mexico, Alan's roommate was Jimmy Martin, who was 138 pounds, loud and wisecracking, described as a poor man's Jim Cagney. A contrast to Alan, who was big, quiet, and soft-spoken, but the difference did not hinder Alan. In July of 1976, at the age of 32, Alan had been working as a bouncer at Julio's Warrenville Inn for the previous 3 years, and word got around he was not someone to mess around with. During the 1976 National AAU Championships in Baltimore, Alan failed to place in the heavyweight division after losing in an early round decision. In spite of all this, the American coaches felt that Alan would be the committee's wild card pick. After a meeting held immediately after the championships, due to his impressive credentials, the committee voted to move Alan to the open class section. That year at the Olympics in Montreal would be his first Olympic berth. This time he was down to 200 pounds in a lower weight class, where he would win a bronze medal. His victory made him the first African American to win a solo Olympic Games medal in a sport other than boxing or track and field. In 1976, along with former Olympic decathlon winner Milt Campbell, Alan received keys to the city of Plainville, New Jersey, presented by Mayor Paul J. O'Keefe. He was also invited to the White House by President Ford, but was discouraged. He still wasn't able to make a living with the sport he loved and had to have a full-time job as either a bouncer or bodyguard. Allen retired from competitive judo following the 1976 Olympics due to financial frustrations and all-around internal politics. Allen's ride in judo was even more remarkable than the record indicates, as he was by no means a natural. He admitted to putting on a tough guy attitude as a teenager because he was afraid to let people see how inadequate he felt about himself. In October of 1977, Allen made his way to Japan, where he began training as a professional wrestler under Antonio Inoki in the New Japan Pro Wrestling Dojo. In 1977, he would debut under the ring name Buffalo Allen. Optimistic he would finally be able to make a living at something he loved doing. Now at over 260 pounds and bench pressing over 400 pounds, he was also squatting over 600 pounds. Allen made a one-off appearance in the Worldwide Wrestling Federation in February 1978, defeating jobber Frank Williams at a live event. He returned to the promotion in January of 1979 under the name Big Allen Coage and wrestled for the WWF for the remainder of the year, appearing on several episodes of WWF Championship Wrestling. In late 1979 at Madison Square Gardens, teaming with JoJo Andrews, Allen challenged for the Tag Team Championship against Riki Choshu and Seiji Sakaguchi. Coage's team was unsuccessful when Andrews submitted to a Boston Crab by Sakaguchi in a match that lasted just under 10 minutes. In 1982, Allen found a long-term home in Stu Hart's Stampede Wrestling. While working for Stu Hart in his Stampede Wrestling promotion, Allen was suspended, quote-unquote, indefinitely by the commission, along with Archie the Stomper Gouldy, for violating wrestling regulations during a bout earlier that month, using weapons in a match including a chair, cane, and a fork. While attacking each other, fans were shooken up, and a 14-year-old girl had her leg pinned under a chair while being trampled by other fans, but was not seriously injured. Stu Hart also reportedly had his license suspended because of the incident, and the commission ruled he would have to pay $10,000 to get it back. Allen also reportedly grabbed an elderly man in the audience and shook him. Allen, the Stomper, and even referee Cedric Hathaway were all suspended. Behind the scenes, Stu Hart was negotiating a deal with Vince McMahon to sell the promotion to the WWF. In 1984, he was back working for Stampede Wrestling when Vince McMahon reneged on the agreement. Allen remained with Stampede until 1988, with some tours of Australia, Florida, and had matches with wrestlers such as the Dynamite Kid and Bret Hart. He often referred to himself in interviews as the Ultimate Warrior. Allen returned to the World Wrestling Federation in early 1988 as Bad News Brown, and it was during that time he achieved his greatest notoriety. His trademark characteristic as Bad News Brown was never smiling. Either he kept an angry face or laughed loud at the expense of opponents' misfortunes. While the roster was mostly filled with ultra-virtuous baby faces and cowardly and monster heels, Bad News was something entirely different, a tough loner. While other heels were likely to form alliances with one another, Bad News was reclusive. Some say this was a blueprint to the Stone Cold Steve Austin character. His dislike for all fellow wrestlers was clear when he abandoned his team at the Survivor Series. Some memorable moments from his WWF tenure included winning the Battle Royal by eliminating Bret Hart, who was then a heel after a sneak attack, followed by a brief feud with WWF champion Macho Man Randy Savage and his manager Miss Elizabeth in late 1988 that led to more main event matches. On the March 11, 1989 edition of Saturday Night's Main Event, Bad News memorably took a microphone towards the end of his match with Hulk Hogan and told him that it was time for the Ghetto Blaster. As he was getting ready to execute it, however, Hogan got out of the way, leading to him miss the move and suffer an eventual loss. Allen's next feud was with Rowdy Roddy Piper, starting at the 1990 Royal Rumble, where he was eliminated by Piper, then illegally eliminated Piper. This led to Allen being ridiculed, which he would counter by calling Piper out for wearing a skirt. This culminated at WrestleMania 11, in which a match both men were counted out. Allen was initially planned to continue the feud with Piper, but since neither man would agree to lose to each other, the program was scrapped, and instead Allen was assigned to work with Jake the Snake Roberts, where Bad News used a sewer rat against Jake Snake. Around this time, Allen was worked into a storyline where he attacked WWF President Jack Tunney on the Brother Love Show. Allen eventually left the WWF after SummerSlam 1990, claiming Vince McMahon failed to live up to his promises to make him the company's first African-American champion, which reportedly affected him and his wife. As written in the autobiography of the Dynamite Kid, Allen's legitimate toughness was displayed in a confrontation involving Andre the Giant, who allegedly made a racist comment on a tour bus for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Allen overheard it and made the driver stop the bus, walked off, and demanded the Giant get off and fight him one-on-one. Andre would not move from his seat and later apologized for the remark. In 1993, Allen was inducted into the Judo Hall of Fame as well as the Black Belt Magazine Hall of Fame. Allen continued to work in independent promotions for several more years, including Japan's Shoot Wrestling, UWF promotion. In 1994, he worked in South Africa and feuded with former Stampede wrestler Gama Singh. He also appeared in Polynesian Pacific Pro Wrestling, where he was their heavyweight champion. He also worked for Tokyo Pro Wrestling from 1997 to 1998 and worked in independent shows in Calgary and Western Canada. Stampede Wrestling made a brief return in 1999, where he was a color commentator along with Mauro Ranallo. Allen retired in 1999 due to knee damage. His last match was May of that year in Regina, Saskatchewan. He continued occasionally working independent shows for friends while living in Calgary with his wife and had considered starting a promotion himself. Allen died of a heart attack on the morning of March 6, 2007 at Rocky View General Hospital in Calgary, minutes after being rushed there due to chest pain. 3 weeks prior to his death, he had undergone a hip replacement surgery. On May 24, 2007, a memorial show was held which drew over 600 fans, promoted by Devin Hannibal Nicholson, who faced Abdullah the Butcher in the main event. Also on the card, Samoa Joe, Tito Santana, and Jim Neidhart, among others. It was reported Goldust, who was scheduled to perform, was paid $800 in advance, no-showed the event, as well cashed in his plane ticket for an additional $900. At one point, Rick Bogner and Allen ran a wrestling school out of Calgary, Alberta. He was working on a book about his career and other wrestling stories just before his death. That was the untold story of Bad News Allen.